Welcome back. We've done our share of women's fashion segments, but we haven't done any men's fashion segments until now. Here's Shane Olubinin, founder of Duke and Winston's clothing line, with some threads to make the guys look a whole lot better. Shane, good to have you here, man.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And you came all the way from Philly.
Yes,
so
I did.
You enjoying the South Florida sunshine?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the weather is nice some days and not the others, but it's been good.
Yeah, well, that's welcome to South Florida. So you're a Philly-based designer, but your clothes are sold down here. We're going to get to all that stuff. But first, kind of walk me through the steps. Take me through the inspiration of your clothing line.
Okay, so I started Duke and Winston in 2009, and I was just trying to think of something to do with myself while I was working in IT and not really liking my job. And I came across a guy up in Boston that had a T-shirt line called Johnny Cupcakes. And I just really liked the way that he branded his line. So I wanted to do the same thing in Philly because we didn't really have a lot of men's independent clothing lines. So I have an English bulldog called Duke, and I moved here from England when I was a lot younger. So I just had this very British style inspiration. So I named the line Duke and Winston, after Duke and Winston Churchill, who was the British Prime Minister, and his nickname was the British Bulldog. So that's kind of how it started off.
You just said so many fascinating things in one answer. I don't know where to start.
Okay.
I have an image of Johnny Cupcakes. I need to know more about that.
Okay, so Johnny Cupcakes is he has a T-shirt line in Boston, and his logo is a cupcake. And he has a store. When you walk into it, you think you're walking into a bakery, but it's like you open the ovens up and there's T-shirts in there and all that stuff. So it's just really well branded.
Cool.
He drives around an ice cream truck but sells T-shirts out of the back of it. So I wanted to do something similar. His demographic is a little bit younger, but I wanted to go after a little bit of an older guy, but do something that was also really well branded and had the same style to it. So with my logo, it's my bulldog with a top hat and a bow tie, and it's just, and if you go into my store, it looks like an old gentleman's club from the 1800s. And I also drive a van around that we sell T-shirts out of the back. So just not a whole lot of people do stuff that's that well branded, and I kind of follow that same concept.
You're classing up a bit.
Exactly.
Classing up the joint a little
Exactly.
bit. Yeah. And another thing you said that struck me was that you were an IT guy.
Mm-hmm.
Were you always like the best dressed IT guy in the office?
You know what? I was a overgrown frat boy, so I didn't really dress well at all. And I think that's really what's helped Duke and Winston, is that it's not too serious. So I wasn't someone that cared about fashion at all. It's just something that an idea that I had. So in designing Duke and Winston, I go after guys that are just like me, that don't really care so much. So it's my job just to get them to step it up just a little bit, but it's not too stuffy, and people really relate to that I'm not a fashion guy.
I mean, that's so great, because I think most guys are kind of like that at the end of the day, right?
Absolutely.
We just want to be comfortable. Yeah, we want to look good, but we don't want to spend that much time worried about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what kind of pieces do you have?
So the line started out with just like a single T-shirt, and then since then I've just slowly expanded the line a little bit. So now it's a full run of T-shirts. I've added polos to the line. I've added ties. This coming spring, we're designing for next year, so we're going to be doing like almost a full clothing line. So button downs, pants, swim trunks, and all of that. And then I just recently added a pet line. So I do dog leashes and dog collars. Obviously, because of my bulldog Duke, I had to do something to take care of him. So there's now a pet line added to it.
And there's a kids line?
So yeah, the kids line launched literally 3 weeks ago. A majority of my customers are young guys in between 29 and their late 30s. So sometime in between then they start to have kids, and a lot of them would come into my store with little kids, and I just decided to kind of take care of them.
So basically, a guy with a kid and a dog. Just one-stop shopping.
Absolutely. It started out with just a guy with a dog, but then the kids are getting thrown in there now. So.
Are you going to feel any pressure at any point in time to design clothes for women?
You know what? I would say that 75% of my customers are women, and they come into the store to buy stuff for their boyfriends, for their husbands, and all of that, because guys still don't really like shopping that much. So at some point, I'm gonna have to do the women's stuff. I've tried, but I don't really know what women like at all. So
well,
it's tough.
No guy does.
Yeah.
So don't worry about that. Here's the thing: women have so much of their own stuff when it comes to clothes and fashion.
Yeah.
Let us just have this.
And that's what I'm trying to. But I kind of have to do a little something, because it's just such a huge customer base that I have to take care of them. But the focus really is going to be on guys. Yeah.
How heavily do you weigh in on the style stuff? I mean, are you the head designer of this company?
I'm everything. I mean, up until 6 months ago, I think I was the only employee, and now there are about 4 full-time, part-time, and then 5 interns. So I'm slowly transitioning from doing literally everything, but I still come up with all the concepts and all of that, and then I'll have like a designer flesh it out a little bit further. But beginning of the season, I lay everything out.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So now are you just kind of going out, looking around, and seeing what works? Are you always kind of getting your fashion brain going?
Oh yeah, I mean, at this point, I think I'm working about 18 hours a day, and I spend. Usually at night is when the creative juices kind of go. So I'll spend 4 or 5 hours each night just kind of looking for inspiration, and even when I'm walking around, even while I'm down here, just kind of look at what people are wearing and just trying to figure out how I can kind of turn it into.
All right, so we have something pretty cool now. So we actually we've got a male model and we've got a dog.
Absolutely.
And you've dressed them both up.
Sure.
And we're gonna show that off now.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's do that.
Cool.
Okay. All right, we got a full house now.
Absolutely.
We got a couple of models here.
Yeah.
We got John over there, and we've got Sophie right here.
Mm-hmm.
Sophie's modeling some cool stuff, which we're going to get to in a minute. But we'll start with John and a very kind of signature T-shirt in your line, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So this was one of the first shirts that I ever did, and this kind of just represents what the line is about. I mean, this is an image of my bulldog Duke wearing a crown, and I kind of took it from a very famous image of Biggie Smalls, where he's got the crown like cocked to the side. So I kind of just mix like a lot of maybe streetwear stuff with more preppier themes. And this is a shirt that I've sold literally thousands of, and it's a shirt I designed in 2009, and it's still my best seller to this day. It comes in multiple colors, and I walk around in New York or I'm out in LA, and you see people wearing it around the streets. So.
Looks great. So is John a better business partner or model?
You know what? He should probably stick to the business side.
Okay. Well, he has a hoodie in his hand, which I don't think would fit him. So I'm guessing it's probably for the dog.
Absolutely. So one of the big things, and I think one of the reasons that people really like Duke and Winston is, I make stuff for people, but then you can also dress your pet almost the same way. So this is a hoodie that I just created for dogs, and started out for just bulldogs, but now you can get them for any kind of dog. And the same design you can get on an adult hoodie. So it's like you can kind of dress like your dog.
Oh, you can match like your dog.
Absolutely.
Which is just a little creepy.
It is a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. But maybe on Halloween it might work. Okay, and now over to Sophie here.
Yeah, so Sophie is rocking the first line of leather goods that I created, and it's a line of leather leashes and collars, and created all of this stuff 100% handmade in Pennsylvania. Just about an hour away from where we are. And it's literally the highest quality leather that you can get. And
whoa!
Okay.
I think our camera guy just freaked a little bit.
So this comes in multiple shades, and it's slowly becoming one of our most talked about products. So now that we're getting into the pet line, this is kind of our launch into that.
All right, fantastic. Sophie, hang in there. We're almost done. Okay, if people want to get your clothes, you got a shop here on Las Olas.
Las Olas, yeah, called the Archives. We have our main store in Philadelphia, and then most of the time people go to our website, which is DukeandWinston.com.
Duke and it's A-N-D.
And Winston, or it's Duke-Winston, both will take it.
Okay, awesome. Great to meet you, buddy.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thank
I
you.
Appreciate it. John, nice job. Well done.
Appreciate it.
Sophie, most of the time you were pretty well behaved. Thank you, Shane, and that'll do it for today's show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any segment ideas for what we should cover, all you have to do is tweet me at Dave Azer, or you can always follow us on Facebook at Inside South Florida. So we'll see you same time, same place next weekend. And remember, you can catch us all week on Eye Opener, weekday mornings from 7 to 9, right here on SFL TV. Have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll see you soon.